What's up, guys? Here I am broadcasting from my bike garage. It doubles as a goat shelter, emergency shelter sometimes. Drinking oregano tea. Shout out to Goji Man. I guess he's an expert in killing all that vegan bacteria, so I figured I'd take his advice on killing whatever vegan bacteria did me in. I guess I'll make a video about my food poisoning eventually. I don't know if you can tell, but I lost a lot of weight. Anyway, in reality, the kid I made a video about prior to this one has agreed to debate name the trait, and he says he's going to destroy me on Monday, so look out for that. I wanted to share some anecdotal stories. Not anything that I've experienced personally, but my wife did. She's got many more vegan stories or stories about vegans that I could ever have, because, well, she was a lot more tolerant of the way they smell. Goat liver. Two days fresh. I ate it right out of the animal, and it's much better a couple days later. I don't love it, but it's growing on me. Vegans. So, and these are just anecdotal, I understand that, and the stories I'm about to share. And I know vegans get triggered when you talk about anecdotes and all that other stuff. Unless, of course, they're pro-vegan anecdotes, then it's science. My wife, when she was in college, she lived in a vegetarian co-op that was basically overrun by 5 militant vegans. But except for those 5 vegans, everybody there was vegetarian or basically vegetarian, right? They were all friendly toward a plant-based diet. A funny, kind of unrelated story, but every night of the week, somebody from the co-op had to cook a dinner for everybody, right? At one time, this vegan decided to make beans and rice. And she almost killed everybody by undercooking the beans. A whole bunch of people ended up in the hospital. Vegans. But And I know this is anecdotal, and I'm not telling you to think anything of it. These anecdotes, and I see them all the time, those types of anecdotes and similar anecdotes, they're important to me. To me, it's science. I don't care if you agree. I'm not trying to push my belief onto you. I take this stuff very seriously. So, one of those 5 vegans, he was always super healthy, right? He researched everything. He was on top of stuff all the time. He never ate anything for pleasure. It had to be healthy, full of nutritional value, or he didn't need it. He was anti-high fat diet, obviously. Most vegans are. He didn't fry anything. He steamed all the vegetables. He wasn't a raw vegan, but if this guy didn't do veganism right, there's no way to do veganism right, because he was into it hardcore, right? He sprouted all the grains he ate, all the stuff you're supposed to do. He did it. Died of colon cancer by the age of 30. Did veganism kill him? I better fucking believe it. There was another vegetarian in the co-op, and she didn't eat. She only ate eggs and cheese once in a while, right? It was one of her guilty pleasures. But other than that, she was basically vegan. She's struggling with cancer right now. Got cancer by the age of 30. There's another person from that co-op has cancer. That's 3 people out of 60 that my wife knows of. She doesn't keep in touch with everybody. Who knows about the rest of them, right? And not everyone's just gonna share that they got cancer on Facebook either. But that's 3 people out of 60 getting cancer, and the healthiest of them all, the most vegan of them all, the one that only ate stuff that was healthy and did it right. No, he did it right. Dead. Colon cancer. I'm not interested in your studies. I'm not interested in your corrupt science. I'm not interested in science telling me that meat is inflammatory when it cured my inflammation. I don't buy into any of that. You could keep it all to yourself. It's like vegans think that life is just one big debate. Now, don't get me wrong. I like debates, but I like to debate logic. I like to debate truth, facts. There's so much misinformation out there. The science is so corrupt. It's constantly misinterpreted. No one does meta-analysis of all the studies in any one area. They just basically cherry pick whatever fits their confirmation bias. Not interested in any sort of debate like that. It always boggled the mind why people think you could actually have a debate, an honest debate about the science on any particular topic. Because if you're really interested in what the science says on any particular topic, you're going to look up all the studies on the given topic. You're going to read them all, and you're going to be able to come to a conclusion. What's the point of debating that with somebody? Well, it's only because you're not honest enough to figure this shit out for yourself. And you want to trick somebody in a debate that you're right, when there's only one conclusion the two of you could come to. There's only one truth. And if the truth is controversial, well, that's still the truth, right? It's still, we don't know what the answer is. So people who want to debate studies, well, they're just biased and dishonest. What is there to debate, right? The science is up there. So I'm not interested in any of that. I'm a lot more interested in personal anecdotes, things that I've experienced, things that I've seen with my own eyes, or what my wife tells me because I trust her. The vegan community, man, it's just so dishonest. So we have these vegans locally who have attacked us before because we raise animals. And we sell them at the market, animal products. So they've come up to my wife and they've just made, these just like snide remarks and shit they would never say to me, but I wouldn't be a very good salesperson. But one of them, the other day, came crawling back on his knees with a sheepish little smile on his face, the kale shake guzzling sheep that he is. And bought some of our goat cheese. These fuckers are suffering, man. My brother and his wife, they had issues, they had trouble conceiving. And they, for years, were, anti-meat. They would eat chicken like once a month, few eggs, very little dairy, cheese, because chicks can't help themselves when it comes to cheese. You know how that is. And they couldn't conceive. They kept trying, and it wasn't happening. And then they started eating red meat. And all of a sudden they conceived. Except she hadn't been eating red meat long enough to become strong enough to carry out pregnancy full term. their kid is just fine and everything's okay, but he was born prematurely. And she was always really pale and skinny and just cranky all the time. Very much into science, psychiatrist. So my wife also worked at a fertility clinic in the Bay Area, and the people who had the hardest time conceiving were vegans. The people with the highest vitamin B12 deficiency were vegans. Some vegetarians, very few omnivores had B12 deficiency. You see these vegans around here and they're fucking crazy. They're irritable. Their families are falling apart. Their kids' teeth are just fucking rotting away. These families are always breaking up, producing all these fatherless children. The husband will leave the wife, or she'll get a fucking restraining order against him because he's batshit crazy. This one guy would yell at his wife. She wanted to feed her kids eggs and dairy, but he didn't approve. But as it turns out, all the while he was torturing his family, he was taking a fish oil supplement. And that guy was fucking batshit crazy. He was just a danger to himself and everybody around him. These local people where he lived, they told him to get the fuck out of their neighborhood or they're gonna kill him. True story. They just couldn't handle the fucking toxic piece of shit that he was. Just the other day, some fucking vegetarian killed somebody in town. It's just batshit crazy. Walking around stabbing people. That's what he was known for. He slashed up a lady before. You know, vitamin B12 deficiency, cholesterol deficiency. Makes people violent and crazy. It's just what happens. This part's kind of chewy. So, I'm not interested in your science or studies. I have eyes and ears. I have the eyes and the ears of people I trust. And that's enough for me. This is not a debate. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. To me, I'm right. To me, these anecdotes are more valuable than some words on a piece of paper somewhere that you call science. People are so fucking confused. But that's all I gotta say. Felt like talking a little bit. Maybe I'll talk about my food poisoning next. Probably the worst thing that ever happened to me, objectively. I don't exaggerate when I say these things, but I thought I was gonna die. But I didn't. Catch you on the next one.